If dreams can exist in a world like this, don't abandon them. You need to embrace all that you are. Stare fear in the face.
Hey guys, so the internet loves an arrest. It loves that whole breaking news banner. But once the hearings begin and the motions pile up, what happens to to the news? The internet gets bored and the internet moves on. The internet has the attention span of a fruit fly. But these cases that we're going to talk about today just didn't disappear just because people stopped talking about them. These cases are important. Some of these cases you might not have ever even heard of. So today we're returning to 4 cases that I have actually talked about on this channel before. Sometimes I have covered multiple streams of these cases, and sometimes it was a one and done. But we are going to go over what has been updated, if the trials are coming up, what is going on, is there anything that's actually happening, and just kind of give a quick update, because these aren't going away, and some of these cases, 2 of these cases specifically, involve the tragic unaliving of children. With that being said, protect your mental health. We are going to give a TLDR of each case, and if you decide that case is not for you, then I will see you on the next one, and no shame in taking a break from that. However, if you want to stick around, welcome to Squid Pro Quo, where we investigate before we react. I cover court cases and the things that just generally interest me. And I bring you all along for the crazy ride that is my life. Thanks for dealing with my few days off last week. Last week was the first week of baby Squid's school. So trying to figure out our new schedule, what it was going to look like, and how things were going to work. And now I am sick. Sorry, I was running a minute late. I had to go get my cough drops because heaven forbid I survive the first couple weeks of school and the new school, new year child crud without my cough drops. So if you see me momentarily pause, mute my camera, or mute myself, it is because I need to cough. So, and I am not the only one who is sick. The little is sick as well. Yep. So it is just, the new school, new year crud. However, thanks Unhung Hero for getting us started off with a $2 super chat. Mama? Seems that Hathcock has disappeared. Oh no. That sounds like a personal problem. Heidel, thanks for reading my super mod. Florida Flipper, thanks for being here. Gail, good to see you. Lurk and Meowth, lurk away. D'Artemost, good to see you as well. Hey, update, we need one. And honestly, some of these cases, there is not a lot to update except for just some procedural stuff. But it's a thing. Fruit fly, that's a new analogy for me. I could use that. Hey, Volusia One, how are you? Yeah, I did. I took care of it. I gotcha. There's the school girl. Are you loving school?
Yeah.
Yeah, are you making lots of friends?
Yeah.
Is it really hot outside?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's 95 degrees outside right now, so it's a little hot. It's a little hot. However, so we are going to go back to the docket, and we are going to do 4 cases today. And I might do this every Monday on a few cases that we haven't talked about in a while, just to see where they are. Oh yeah, the school starting crud. I knew it was coming, but it is what it is, She gets sick and I get laid out. So we're going to talk first about Anthony Shea. Anthony Shea, he is the former Orange County Sheriff Sergeant. He was married. His estranged wife was also a Orange County Sheriff's Office lieutenant. Anthony Shea was found unalived from a GSW. And I will let someone in the chat say what GSW is. I can use that analogy on YouTube. I like my monetization and really don't want to have to use any other analogy for the pew pew shot to, But she was found unalived from a GSW inside their home in 2024. He initially reported finding her after he and his daughters returned home from the store. Investigators initially looked at it and thought suicide. And they allege that Anthony attempted to establish an alibi to create the self-deletion narrative using messages, surveillance footage, and some other evidence. However, things didn't work out in his favor or for the self-deletion narrative. If you want to see my original stream, I will pin it to the I will pin it in the description of the video. However, he was later arrested and charged with first-degree unaliving in Orange County, Florida. Orange County seems to be a Orange County is Lips and Dorito, whatever his name is. Orange County is Sarah Boone. Orange County is this guy. Orange County is an interesting place, to say the least. Hey, Buckshot RJ, how are you? Spawn's here. JKD Buck. Long time no lurking. Yeah, where you been at? You heard it here second. All right. So, and all of these people have pled not guilty and remain innocent until proven guilty, just for the sake of my YouTube monetization. Yep. Yeah. All right. So the current update, there is not a whole lot. There has been canceled hearings. He still remains without bond. His next hearing is September 22nd. His initial trial date was supposed to be either August 17th or August 18th of this month or this year. However, his trial has now moved to April 19th of 2027 with this motion right here. Come on. Okay. So this is the motion that his attorney has filed.
Mommy, Pip Pops.
Yes.
Pip Pop time.
Oh, thank you.
Pip Pop.
Oop.
Is it Pip Pops?
It's not K-pop, it's PayPal.
Pip Pop.
But Volusia One, thank you for the $50 Ko-fi. You are very much appreciated. Very, very, very much appreciated. Yes, very, very much appreciated. That's and I did get also got a message from about our friend Captain Kern, who is currently streaming right now, doing a stand up to cancer fundraiser. Sorry, my brain is scattered. So he has raised, I want to say, $2,135.11. For every $100 raised, he is doing a giveaway. So when you are done here, head on over there. We will redirect over there, but head on over there and give him a donation, because he is raising money for a very good cause. And yes, these are actual donations going to Stand Up to Cancer. These are not pledges or you know, these are actual donations. So, yeah. All right. So this is the second motion to continue. The first one was filed in a little earlier in that month. I want to say the 10th. So Anthony John Shea, by through undersigned counsel, a status hearing set for June 23rd at 9 a.m. with the trial period set for August 17th. I said the 17th or the 18th. Like I said, I've been going through a lot of documents, so certain numbers, no. We just hit 2,500. Hallelujah. Discovery in this matter is ongoing, and the case is not ready to proceed to trial. In 2 recent conversations with Mr. Shea, he has evidenced his desire to bring additional experts to address certain issues regarding certain facets of the state's case. A DNA expert regarding certain aspects of touch DNA, its collection and preservation, and a psychological expert to address issues of trauma response and the effect on presentation. Is interesting. A forensic analysis of the victim as to the GSW and the scene where the pew-pewing happened. Due to his limited financial capabilities, he has to seek further funding to accomplish payment for same by further invading his retirement account. This has most recently begun and is anticipated will resolve in a way that allows Mr. Shea to continue to pay for these experts. Based on this increased workload, undersigned counsel is seeking an extension of the court's imposed discovery deadlines, particularly those dealing with experts, and this was approved. This also was unopposed. So this is the most important part, and we will get to this conversation at the end. We're going to do all 4 case updates before I kind of get to the conversation. That way, if you only want the case updates, you know what is happening with these cases. It's I mean, they can. I don't see why they couldn't.
Mommy, damn it.
Yep. The thing is she gets home from school and she is so tired. So tired. So,
Mommy, what is that?
That's my cough drops. Those are not candy. Mr. Shea has previously waived his right to a speedy trial. Undersigned counsel's office has reached out to Assistant State Attorney Shawn to obtain his position on the requested continuance, and he understands the requirements of preparing. So that was approved. And his attorney is Mark O'Mara, who I've heard of before, but I can't name you another client that he's had that I know of. Mod tasking. Can't type today. That's all right. I don't know where today went because I woke up this morning. I took her to school. I went to the gym. I got some stuff done around the house. And the next thing you know, it's time to pick her up from school. And it's like, where is my day going? And then after I get done here, I have to go to work. So we saw that motion to continue. It was approved. So that trial date is April 19th of 2027. 2.5 years after his arrest. And this trial date is also not set in stone. But here's the questions that we ask moving forward, because there's just been the only other motions that have been entered have been all things like more witnesses, more discovery, responses to discovery, all procedural things. There really hasn't been any substantive motions that are dramatic, important. Everything's procedural, but there is just so much in the way of discovery that Yeah. You know. So, you want to get down? Oh, girl. All right. So he did waive his right to a speedy trial, but well, what is a speedy trial? And when does waiving your speedy trial rights and not having a bond interfere with your constitutional rights because you're innocent until proven guilty? There's just a lot of questions that come up for me when it comes to the right of a speedy trial, even though I know clients waive it all the time. But does anyone ever actually get a quote unquote speedy trial these days? Or does anybody actually want a speedy trial these days? And that's kind of what we're going to discuss at the end. So, 8 months away from this trial, the next case has motions that could substantially change what eventually reaches a jury, if the jury even hears this case at all. And the court hasn't ruled on any of them. And this is where we want to protect our mental health. So because the how do I put this lightly? Anthony Shea is accused of unaliving his wife. Very upsetting, yes, but she was also an adult. Our next contestant on the Monday update show is Demegillo, or whatever her name is. I'm really bad at pronunciations of people's names. And there is just a certain point in time that I guess I really don't care. Because I have learned that, one, no one pronounces my name correctly. Secondly, when you're accused of what she's accused of, I just don't give a flying F about how to pronounce your name. Yes, there's an innocent until proven guilty situation here. However, I just, come on, replace image. Come on, there we go. I love when technology is great until it's not, and it's slow. And you're like, why is it so damn slow? It's not supposed to be this slow. All right, we have Demegillo. TLDR, protect your mental health with this one. I originally covered this and watched some of the body cam footage from her arrest on April 25th. She is accused. Okay, and we're going to touch on this very lightly. She is accused of giving birth and unaliving the child and dumping and disposing of the said child she gave birth to. So the interesting part about this is she went to the cops and turned herself in, and she confessed. Now she has pled not guilty. And remember, this has not been proven, although the evidence is very, very compelling. This is in Flagler County, Florida. Or, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't remember where that's at. I have absolutely no idea where that is. However, this is oh, come on. Flagler. You know, when you have a bunch of links and you're like, why can't I find this person? Yeah, and now my link is broken. Anyway, she is a college student who basically gave birth and disposed of the child. Gruesome, awful. If this is true, she deserves the wood chipper extraordinaire. However, I have already covered this. I will also link that video in the description of the video. But there are motions filed to dismiss, and this happened March of this year, to dismiss the case and suppress her confession. Flagler is the county north of Daytona Beach. Okay, I've driven through it because I've been to Daytona. I just haven't been there. However, this has also been continued and continued and continued. So the judge has not ever been able to rule on any of these motions to dismiss, the motions to suppress. The docket is pretty lengthy. This one, every hearing that they're supposed to have, and this is the quickest one, she has also waived her right to a speedy trial. However, which is another, it's another one of those interesting, she waived her right to a speedy trial as well. These are like twin motions. So there has been so many, and I feel like a broken record, and I feel like I'm literally saying the exact same thing that I said 5 minutes ago. Unopposed motion for continuance. Comes now to the defendant and Demegillo. By and through undersigned counsel, respectfully request this court to grant a continuance of the pretrial scheduled for July 22nd, 2026, with waiver of speedy trial. Discovery is ongoing. State does not have the report of the autopsy and other critical medical records, which the defense needs to review and possibly seek an expert guidance on, to include retaining forensic experts. As of July 17th, these records were still not in the state's possession. Counsel is in regular communication and discovery is moving smoothly. There is just more to do. Defense has retained experts who have not yet completed their case review. Additional time is required for defense counsel to adequately investigate areas of the case. Critical litigation includes mitigation sentencing concerns. Discovery consists of hundreds of pages of documents, of gigabytes of video, recordings, and photographs. Additional time is required to finalize the review of these documents to determine which of the state's 40 witnesses need to be deposed. 40 witnesses. This motion is brought in good faith, not for avoidance or undue delay. Assistant State Attorney Andrew Urbanek does not object to the proposed continuance. Speedy trial is waived. Reading is important. Reading is important, just so you know. Counsel has conferred with his client, who does not object to waiving her right to a speedy trial in favor of more time for counsel to prepare her cause. Once again, waiver of a speedy trial brings up the question, how long should discovery take? She also has been, I want to say, denied bond. So she is also sitting in jail. It's just a yeah. No, the docket doesn't really contain an order explaining why the motions remain undecided, except for these hearings have repeatedly been rescheduled, and it appears the court has not reach the point of hearing and deciding them would be the only thing that I can think of. But there is nothing really in the docket to explain this. It's just more procedural stuff. And this is why this is a quick show and these are all quick updates. Because there's not a lot of substance in some of these cases. But it's like, hey, here's what it is. There's been no trial date set. There's been no major rulings on any of the motions filed. And we're just kind of sitting in discovery limbo. Somebody needs to make a video about discovery limbo. And somebody's out. So, things that came up with this. This happened back in March. So this is moving a lot faster than Anthony Shea's because his was October of 2024. So the fact that it's I don't know. This is just one of those, why is our justice system so slow? Why does discovery take so damn long? And why does it take so long for everything to get done? Why is our system so backlogged that things take forever? And there's this too. I'm going to try to find my, I thought I had a link on it, but it didn't want to work. So this was to give you more background on the case. Now that this one's passed out. So, first degree unaliving and related charges. She allowed her newborn to drown in a toilet and later buried the infant in her backyard. I mean, yeah. So, investigators say she gave birth unexpectedly at her home Wednesday, March 5th, placed the baby in the toilet, watched as the infant cried and drowned. Authorities reported that she then went to class at Daytona State College, participated in a campus play, and later returned home to bury the child in a shallow grave in the backyard. Yeah. This is what they're trying to get suppressed. Was she said this to police. Her actions were wrong and that she needed to be held accountable. I got nothing for this. I got nothing for that. I understand she's 20 at the time. She's young. But I know teenagers who got pregnant, had babies, and are still better mothers than this. That's true. It goes back to our crime problem. And I am 2 chapters into the book that you sent me. I read it at least once a day, a couple of pages. Not getting very far. Because Exhibit A. And y'all, I feel like absolute ass. But her next hearing is August 19th. If it is streamed, because Law and Crime, or I think it was Law and Crime or Court TV, one of them, they're owned by the same people, did cover this originally. So it may be streamed, it may not. I don't know. What about mental illness defense? I don't think this one would qualify. Unlike Lindsay Clancy, who had a long history of mental health issues and actually going and getting treated, I don't think this girl had any. I don't think she told anybody she was pregnant. That's the understanding that I got from the headlines and the body cam footage. However, like I said, that's not been confirmed. That's just the feeling that I got based on the fact that she was in a play. Who acts in a play at 9 months pregnant? I mean, at 9 months pregnant, I wanted to sit on my butt as long as possible because my feet hurt. Standing up gave me heartburn. I don't think she told anybody she was pregnant. Hence why she got rid of it. Hey, Tammy. How are you doing? Is everything okay? Yeah, these are awful cases. Oh, she's out. Sorry, I was waiting to see if I would cough again. This is the one where we truly we truly need to protect our mental health, because this one, you thought Demegillo was bad. Aliyah Henderson. I have also covered this, I want to say in March or April. I'm not exactly sure when my stream was. However, TLDR, Aliyah Henderson, Cleveland, Ohio, March 2026, 2 suitcases containing human remains were discovered buried in Cleveland somewhere, found by a person walking their dog. The victims were identified as sisters, 10-year-old Amora Wilson and 8-year-old Mila Chapman. Their mother, Aliyah Henderson, was arrested. Prosecutors allege Henderson was responsible for both unalivings. A third child, it was reportedly found alive and at the house and placed in protective care. Henderson was indicted on aggravated unaliving and related charges, including CA. She has also pled not guilty. Her initial bond was set at $2 million. She is currently incarcerated, as far as I know. Once again, innocent until proven guilty. The discovery of these girls generated enormous attention. But the discovery of the bodies is not the worst part. The medical examiner recently has determined their cause of death. So we are going to to get to the I hate ads. I really hate ads. I really hate ads. Come on. So why do they always bring this up? I hate ads. Okay. We are going to bring up the cause of unaliving. Officials say Mila Chapman and Amora Wilson died by homicide by unspecified means with malnutrition, which means this wasn't they were doing just fine, their mom got angry, and it was not a heat of passion crime. It wasn't I don't know what, you know what I mean? Like when you get angry and you just want to like push something. Like it wasn't a heat of passion crime. It wasn't the girls wouldn't stop crying or something and their mom snapped. This was long-standing. You don't get malnutrition overnight. That's something that takes months and sometimes even years to happen. And malnutrition can mean multiple things. I don't have the actual autopsy report to read to give any insight. However, no suitcases. I'm so claustrophobic. Oh, not today. But this man right here has sent me another suitcase case. So, Gail, I will forewarn you before we talk about that case. So, this was also a 2026 case. So, the Cuyahoga, and I say that wrong, Ohio counties, y'all are weird. Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner has identified their cause of death. Both Mila Chapman and Armour Wilson died from homicide by unspecified means with malnutrition. So this is how the bodies were found. Good Samaritan was walking when the dog became interested in a partially buried suitcase. So she not only had them in suitcases, allegedly she buried them too. Orlando just had a suitcase involved unaliving. Yeah. But it wasn't a Sarah Boone copycat. Hey, Brian, how are you? Did the second person hear about it and think, I bet I can get away with it? No, this one sounds more gruesome than, yeah. So they found one suitcase, and while the police were on site, they found the second suitcase. So it's the third child remains in protective custody. That is family court, so documents are sealed. We will have no idea, but I hope they are doing as well as they can be. Not only from a physical standpoint, but from a mental health standpoint. So she is facing 6 counts of aggravated unaliving, 4 counts of unaliving, 6 counts of kidnapping, 4 counts of felonious assault, 3 counts of child endangering because the child that was still alive, 1 count of tampering with evidence, and 2 counts of gross abuse of a corpse. She has also pled not guilty. The other update in this case, yeah, that's the first thing that came to my head when I read the article and it said Northport. Hey, Sandra. I used to live in Ohio. I lived in Ohio for a few years. I didn't live anywhere near Cleveland, but I lived more Afro-Man. That's my neck of the woods. Chat hopping, hard to do on the phone. For anybody that's chat hopping over to to my good friend, can you tell him I said hi, Captain Kern? Hold on. My brain says, reach for another cough drop. My left hand says, you're not moving anywhere because admit it, Heather, you like that 70s show, Hello, Wisconsin? Well, I did live in Wisconsin, too. I lived a lot of places. I'm split screen, so yes. All right. So that is honestly that. If there are any updates in her competency or any files are released, because I am interested in that autopsy report, just because my medical background just makes me have to know the answers to questions. But this competency is not the competency of whether she was competent while she was committing the act in question. This is the competency in whether she can assist her lawyers. I guess there was a situation in which she did not want to attend a hearing and refused to attend a hearing, and the corrections officers had to basically remove her from her cell. I don't have details of that incident. I just can only go by what the news reports tell me, and you know how much I trust mainstream media, so take that with a grain of salt. However, this is whether she can actually participate and is competent enough to participate in her defense, not whether she was competent at the time of the crime. That is not in question. My poor little girl, but my arm is falling asleep. All right. So some questions that I have, and I don't have the answers to these questions. These are just things that come up as I'm reading, and I write them down because I want to know what you guys think. So what happens if she's found incompetent? If she is found incompetent, can she regain her competency to stand trial through treatment? Could that delay their proceedings? This is just where my mind goes. I don't know. And because the mechanism of actual unaliving is unspecified, will that hinder the prosecution's case? And will that be something the defense has to focus on? I can't take her to bed because the minute I set her down, she will be awake. Every time that I try to do that, y'all, and I take her and I say, hey, I'm going to take her to bed. I will be right back. She, you know, did you beat her little angel until she went to sleep? She will tell her Uncle Larry, and then, oh boy, for you. No, school made her exhausted. I picked her up from school. She got in the car, and you could tell. She was just sleepy. Plus, she's not feeling good either. He said perfect, and I will try, but I promise you, if she wakes up, I'm blaming you. So I'm going to go try to lay her down in her bed. And I will be right back. Okay. I tried to talk to her the whole way down. She did wake up, but she rolled over and kind of laid back down. So we'll see if it lasts. We'll see if it lasts. But yes, Jeffrey, I was very uncomfortable with that. My arm is killing me. Plus, she is a space heater. And I love her. And I love Mr. Squid dearly. But they radiate heat. And it's hot outside. It's just too hot to be you know what I mean? Like, it's just hot. Had my 18-month-old nephew this weekend, and the minute I laid him down, he'd wake up. Yeah, she's always like that. She doesn't do that with her dad. When he picks her up and puts her in bed, she's fine. When I do it, she wakes up. I don't know. All right. So we shall see where this goes. And these update shows are going to be a little quick because of the fact that these aren't super long updates. There's no huge documents to cover. These aren't things that can stand or hold their own streams anymore. These are just, Harry, I can't either. I can't wait for winter. I can't wait for it to be less than 80 degrees every day, where I can sit in Carline with my windows down. That's all I want, is to sit in Carline with my windows down. That's all I want. Not have to run my car for 50 minutes. Oh, and my nose is runny now. So, it's all right. Here's the longest running with the least information, but the most questions. So, Shawn Mickey Stines, the former Letcher County, Kentucky sheriff who shot the judge, Kevin Mullins, in his chambers on camera. It's on courthouse surveillance on September 19th of 2024. I mean, we are almost September of 2026. We are almost 2 years out from the date of this crime. So, I like the cold. I like the cool. I would say like 50 is like where I can throw on a sweatshirt. Where I can throw on like leggings and a sweatshirt. That's my jam. Anything under that, I get a little However, passed out little Squid was adorable though. Yeah, she is a little cutie pie. She is a little cutie pie. Yeah, that's another one, Jeffrey. Oh yes. Oh, Gail, you're a genius. So speaking of talent truth, before we get to this last case, the sponsor, the affiliate for this channel, the company that took a chance on my tiny little channels and gave me a discount code for 12% off is the Talent Truth. If you are into more natural of skincare and caring about what you put on your skin, tallow, beef tallow skincare is like, I know it's kind of the hottest trendy thing, but it's legit the best thing for you. And I just threw mine. See, they're durable too because I just dropped it. Ugh. I have F-Balm. It's beef tallow, frankincense, and honey. That's it. But I use this for everything from a cuticle cream to a lip balm to a face moisturizer at night. It's the only skincare I use now. I have finally finished a couple of my other like moisturizers and stuff. So now this is like the only thing I use at night. And I also use it for my skin tears when I get them at the gym. I used this on a heat rash that I had recently. And honestly, it was the only thing that helped my heat rash. I am not even going to lie. So now, Gail, just amazingly, why didn't I think of it? blowing my nose all the time, my nose is starting to get raw. So putting a little bit under my nose to keep it from getting raw. I'm absolutely in love with it. I don't use F-Balm for my face. I use their whipped tallow, and I also have a body butter that I'm absolutely in love with, that I put a little bit on the bottom of my feet at night and put socks on before I go to bed. Absolutely love it. It has helped my eczema so much. I no longer just, y'all remember when I used to scratch and like my skin used to like welt and attack itself? Now when that happens, I just put this on and it stops the itching too. I don't know what kind of magical science is in there. However, it is so great. So if you go to thetallowtruth.com/squid or use code SQUID at checkout for 12% off, you would not only be supporting your health by eliminating some not so great chemicals in a lot of our skincare, but you would be supporting my channel as well. And I appreciate you guys. Tallow and witch hazel. Yeah, I need to get back to using witch hazel. I was using this a little bit at a time for a lot of things, but I have other stuff and I'm not a wasteful person. So I wanted to finish that other stuff first before I just like went balls to the wall with this. But now it's the only thing I put on my face at night after I wash it. I can't even like, I don't know. It's great. Yeah, the body whip is the best. It smells like candy. It literally smells like candy. All right. So I go get her. I don't think we're zoned for the school she goes to. But I actually have to look into that because I followed the bus to school this morning and it went to her school. And I didn't think we were zoned for her school. Should I start I should start a review channel for moisturizer. But oh my God. Y'all. Oh my goodness. Hey Stacy, how are you? All right, let's get to Shawn Mickey Stines, shall we? And excuse my my sniffling. The only thing that I wish that had in it was a little bit of menthol for my my grossness right now. The thing is she'll be fine in like a day. I'll be out on my butt for like a week. So, Shawn Mickey Stines shot sheriff or Letcher County Sheriff shot Judge Kevin Mullins in his chambers on camera. He has pleaded not guilty to this murder. The defense has indicated that it intends to present evidence involving insanity or extreme emotional disturbance. However, according to new reports or grand jury evidence, his wife and his daughter did not have a relationship with the judge. And that was kind of one of the possible motives that was in question, was whether Shawn's daughter had a inappropriate relationship, because she's a minor, with this judge. TLDR on a tangent from this case, not directly related, but people also thought that it might be part of the motive. There was a case which I actually covered a little bit about on this channel about 2 years prior to this, where there was a favors for favors in the judge's chamber with some inmates, this judge, and a couple members of Mickey Stines' sheriff's department. Mickey Stines was sued as the sheriff. He should have, in his capacity as the sheriff, should have known what was going on. However, so there is a lot to unpack with this case. However, this is one of those cases that, with as many rabbit holes with as many rabbit holes as there is to fall down, there, and as small of a town as this is in eastern Kentucky, people have been very tight-lipped. Not a lot has come out about this. It's a very so there was a quid pro quo arrangement, yet not necessarily a squid pro quo, but yeah. And Stacy, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. I appreciate that so very, very much. And I will, now that I'm figuring out a new schedule and stuff, I will try to be doing some members only things. I will be doing, hopefully, some recorded videos on both channels. I have 2 scripts basically that I wrote up for recorded videos on this channel. I just have to actually record them. The goal is to do that this week, maybe edit them, because I have 4 videos, 2 for this channel, 2 for the other channel. I have all the scripts ready to go. I just have to actually hit record and then edit. And to me, that's the hardest part. Going live is easy. Talking to y'all is easy. Talking to a camera when nobody is actually on the other end of the camera, awkward as hell for me. And I can't figure it out. But, we'll figure it out, I guess. And and thank you, Stacy, for being a member for 7 months. I appreciate it. Has it been that long already? Yay, you finally got internet back. Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. I just... When you fall down a rabbit hole, it's very common to skin your knee. Oh, my God, Brian, you're the best. And Brian is awesome. Brian, when I first moved into this house, bought a couple of things off the Amazon list that I have yet to use, thank God, but are the most important things in my house. 2 fire extinguishers. One's in the garage, one's in the kitchen. I have yet to use them, but they are the most important things in this house. Inanimate objects in this house. All right. So this case comes down to not a whodunit, but why. And the central fight is basically, why did he do it and what was his mental condition when he did it? Because your mental condition can legally change, as we've seen in the Lindsay Clancy trial. And if you have not checked out the Lindsay Clancy trial, go, and you want someone who is covering it with the little bit of petty that we need, go check out Mo in the Deep End and her bows, because these prosecutors are less than desirable. Let's put it that way. All right. So, as of April of this year, Stines sought to remove the judge. The defense pointed to and Judge Christopher Corin, prior professional proximity to Judge Mullins. And the Kentucky Supreme Court said no. He remains assigned to the case. There was a hearing on June 5th. There is what seems like unresolved issues, and that seem to be, even though they're trying to address them in these hearings, seem to be going unresolved. The venue. Prosecutors argue that community division and extensive public publicity would prevent a fair local jury. The defense wanted the court to attempt a jury selection in Letcher County first. The defense wanted to stay in the county, and the prosecution wanted it moved. The judge said he would be hard-pressed to keep the case there, but no ruling has been made. Does moving the trial or the location protect Stines or protect the prosecution? It depends on if you think Judge Mullins was a good guy, or if you think Judge Mullins was a Smexy-time predator. It all depends on your view, and that's alleged because he was never charged with anything. However, there is a lawsuit about inmate smexy time for favors, or smexy time for favors with people on parole in his chambers. It's a weird rabbit hole to fall down. It's a weird rabbit hole to fall down. And how far would this case need to move to protect either side from preconceived notions? That courthouse, is it just a county courthouse? Is that judge only in that county? Because around here, our district attorney is not for one county. Our district attorney is for 3 or 4 counties. So I think our judges move as well. It's an interesting conundrum. So another thing that this June hearing tried to figure out was bond. He is still being held without bond, but the defense requested a $50,000 cash or property bond. Stines' aunt offered to house him and supervise his compliance with his bond release, his release conditions. See ya. Hope it's not too bad. And Tammy, have a good night's sleep. Get some rest. I know you need it. So, prosecutors, on the other hand, argue that the nature of this charge and being caught on camera unaliving someone makes you inappropriate for bond. The judge said that $50,000 was not realistic. And he remains behind bars with no bond. And now another thing that they've tried to work out is a second mental health evaluation. Prosecutors requested an evaluation by a private expert. Defense argued Stines had already been evaluated. Defense questioned how many evaluations the prosecution should be allowed to request. Judge indicated he believed he possessed the authority to order another eval. It seems like this judge is going against everything the defense wants, and that is why they wanted to remove him. So, the second evaluation is requested. It's not ordered. So my graphic, I apologize. My graphic has been wrong as far as I know. The second evaluation has not been ordered, and I apologize for that. So, sounds like he's right where he deserves to be. And that's all about perspective, because I do not believe in vigilante justice. However, if you believe the lawsuit that was filed against the judge and the sheriff back in 2022, I have the actual lawsuit. Let me look it up. It was a federal case. EEOC. Oh, come on. It's somewhere in here. I must have moved it. When you're like trying to stay organized and you move things where you think it's going to make sense, and then you're like, oh, that doesn't make one damn bit of sense there. I know I have it somewhere because I've covered it. But it's Oh, I don't know where it's at right now. Either way, I did cover it. So we shall see. Kentucky, Sheriff Stines. Oh yeah, Atkins v. Field Stines. So this was the original complaint. So the judge was not sued. But Sabrina Atkins. So this was so defendant Fields made flirtatious comments about plaintiff's body, blah 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 blah. In late June 2021, defendant Fields asked Sabrina to meet her at Letcher County Courthouse. After dark, defendant Fields took plaintiff into District Judge Mullins' chambers, telling plaintiff that he wanted to meet her there because there were no cameras. He took off her ankle monitor and told her she would not have to pay the associated fees any longer and could remain out on home incarceration. He met her in the early morning hours approximately 6 times. Yeah, all of this happened in Judge Mullins' chambers. So whether Judge Mullins knew about it, it's a thing. However, it's a yeah. It's a however you feel about that, and that situation can cloud your judgment on how you feel about this case. So it will be interesting to see. There's a lot of questions to be asked here. We still don't have anything to necessarily. Thank you. The little has the first week of school crud, and she decided to share it with me because, so I'm not feeling too hot, if you can tell. However, if you are here for the update only, I have the update only TLDR in a minute. All 4 cases. Anthony Shea, still without bond. Next hearing, September 22nd. Trial now scheduled instead of August 17th of 2026. It is scheduled for April 19th of 2027. And Demegillo. Dismissal and suppression motions remain undecided because all of these hearings have been either rescheduled or canceled for unknown reasons. And next hearing is August 19th. Aliyah Henderson, Ohio mom accused of unaliving her 2 daughters, 8 and 10. Competency evaluation ordered, but competent to see if she is able to participate in her defense, not her competency at the time of the alleged offenses. Also, the manner of death, homicide with unspecified homicide with malnutrition. We have no updates on the 3rd child and how they are doing, but we really hope they are doing well. And then Mickey Stines, we just talked about the venue, bonds, and prosecution requested mental health evaluation remain central pretrial issues, and none of which seem to be getting worked out anytime soon. Now that gets you completely caught up in about a minute. Now, all of these cases seem to have one thing in common: the right to a speedy trial. What is a speedy trial? It's an interesting conundrum when we look at how things. So, the right to a speedy trial. What is it? Why do people waive it? Is it fair? Let's see. And like see, I made graphics. Like y'all, we're trying to step it up. Now I just got to get used to like actually. There we go. All right. A speedy trial. Why a speedy trial matters. One, it's a constitutional right. It limits prolonged detention, reduces time under being accused, protects evidence and witnesses, because as we know, evidence, especially DNA, it gets bad over time. It degrades. Witnesses don't remember things, and it forces the case to keep moving. However, when you waive your speedy trial, now I understand why defendants do it, because discovery can be massive. Experts need records, time to test things, time to just review the case in general. Motions can reshape the case. Both sides need time to prepare. But when does necessary preparation become an unfair delay? And when does waiving the right to your speedy trial I just have like, the question, like you have it, you want to know the answer to this question, but like you can't put the question into words. It's just something's not right here, because you have two defendants that waived their right to a speedy trial, one in a alleged crime from 2026, one from October of 2024. It brings up valid questions, because how much is too much discovery? And it's just one of these discussions that I think is important to have, but I don't really know where to start. And forgive me. This is just one of those issues where does wanting to make sure you get a thorough defense, and is there a way that we can, as a society and as a system, make this better? Because this is like, well, there. What do we do here? Is there like two rights can matter at the same time? Like two things can be true at the same time. But when does the right to prepare start to degrade witnesses, testimonies, evidence? And when does your right to a speedy trial and your right to waive that speedy trial cause your legal team to delay things purposely, such as Tyler Robinson? They appear to be delaying things on purpose in the guise of, we have so much discovery. And this is a discussion that I kind of wanted to have with the chat and the comment section. If y'all have anything to add to this discussion, please enlighten me, because this is why I love having a channel and I love having discussions with you guys, because these are questions I ask myself, but these are also questions where I'm like, I don't know if I have the right answer. I'm not a lawyer. I would never claim to be a lawyer. However, I am a citizen who possibly. Okay, I got to go do mama duties. Ponder that question and I will be right back. Somebody's awake. Anyway, guys, and hey, Dan Davis, how are you? I just wanted to see what you guys thought of this. It was one of the things that as I was... What's the matter, baby? Come here, baby. Is that better? Okay. This is just one of those questions that as I was researching and looking through the documents and the updates in these cases, it was one of those questions that kept popping up in the back of my mind of, what about a speedy trial? These are taking forever. Why are these taking forever? What is taking so long? When does a right to a speedy trial end with discovery taking 2 years? It's a Barker v. Wingo, 1972. And I get the point of a speedy trial. Two things can be true at the same time. But where's the trade-off? And is there a way that we can finish discovery sooner? Is there just ways that we can be better and actually maintain the right to a speedy trial while completing a thorough discovery and being prepared for trial? It's just from a societal perspective, is there ways that we can do better? Is there ways that we can improve? And that's kind of all I've got for you today. Tomorrow, we will be on ETM at 9:15 a.m. We're doing Tuesday, Thursdays in the morning, Monday, Wednesdays in the afternoon. There may be a Tuesday, Thursday afternoon evidence or Squid Pro Quo live stream. I'm just not sure how it's going to work yet. If I do, it'll probably be Thursday. So it'll probably be, I know this is weird, but it's going to be Monday, Wednesday, Thursday for Squid, Tuesday, Thursday for ETM. Friday will be a bonus day. If I'm feeling up to it, we do it. If I feel like recording and uploading a video that week, I'm going to do that instead and then have my day for family. It's one of those, it'll be a bonus day if I do a live stream. However, ETM streams will be their typical 1 hour, 15 minutes, and they will be in the morning. And I will have one edited video per week on that channel. I'm trying to finish the aging series. I have the script. I just need the time to record. And now that I think we have a schedule worked out, I think I have the time to record. Now I caught up on housework. Everything is kind of back to normal. My new version of normal. I think we have it. I'm not really sure though. This is all a work in progress. This whole mom stuff, this whole school thing is new. It's definitely new. So it's a and Heidel did post the link to Stand Up to Cancer 2026. However, we are redirecting over to Captain Kern. So please go tell him I said hi. And please, if you have the Starbucks money, please go donate it to Stand Up to Cancer because cancer sucks ass. Don't repeat what I say, but you get the gist. But thank you all for hanging out with me today on this little update show. These will be shorter shows because these are quicker updates. But these are also Mondays are also the days when I have a lot going on. Got to catch up on stuff from the weekend. I have to work at 5:00. So, life happens and Mondays are crazy. So Mondays are kind of our tiptoeing back into where are some of the cases that we've been looking at for the past year and a half that we just haven't talked about in a while. Next week, we are talking about Ethan Pritchard, he will be a show on his own because he is the Florida State University freshman football player that was shot in the head last year and survived. And he has a criminal case where the people who are accused of shooting him are involved in their criminal case, and he also has a civil case. So we have updates from both. So, hello. How are you? Yes, and just in case YouTube teleporting doesn't happen, because sometimes YouTube is asshole, this is the link over to their stream. But I will see you guys tomorrow morning. We are talking more fraud files, because the more I dig into fraud, the more I get sent and the more we find. And it's just, what better way to bring everybody together than to start talking about things that we all can agree on, and spending unnecessary money on people who are stealing from the system and taking away from people who actually need it is one hell of a way to agree. Oh, and Harry, thanks for the $5 super chat. Nutella Fund. Nutella Fund. Yeah, you're tired. All right. 12-year survivor here, blessed and happy, thankful to be alive. Yeah, cancer sucks. But y'all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out. Bye. You want to say bye?
Bye.